Welcome to the Movies to Watch Before You Die podcast. My name is Dylan, and I'm here with my cousin and co host.
Gab.
And today we are talking about a movie that we have each nominated as one to watch before you die, and that is the 2025 Freakier Friday, starring the incomparable Lindsay Lohan and the miraculous.
Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yes, thank you.
Miraculous?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't think she's Oh, this is off to a bad start already.
She's not like dropping plagues from the heavens. I don't know.
I mean, that's what miraculous, that's what it takes for you?
I mean, those are definitely miracles.
Yeah, but you don't have to take it so literally.
How is one figuratively miraculous?
Oh, that performance was miraculous. Oh, you look miraculous. Oh, people use it all the time.
You're right, Gab. Your use of wordplay there, miraculous.
Thank you. See, it rolls off the tongue. Well, I don't feel like starting this a fourth time, so we're gonna keep going. Um, Dylan, this is the third movie in a row that we are doing on the podcast that we've actually gone to see in the movie theaters, as opposed to doing a movie that one of us has already seen that's been widely available. So I'd like to start by discussing why you couldn't get the date right and we couldn't go see it together.
You told me Sunday.
No,
I
I
think
didn't.
you're wrong. I blame you.
No. I told you I had already purchased tickets for Corey and I to see this on Saturday at 4 p.m. And on Saturday at 1 p.m., you said, "Are we going to see Freakier Friday?" And I said, "Well, we are in 3 hours."
Well, I had plans on Saturday. I thought you had told me Sunday. That's why the day before I was like checking back in,
Yeah.
following up.
No, no, we already bought tickets to go on Saturday. So we went to the movies and saw it Saturday. You saw it Sunday.
Yeah, you
And
texted me that you had an interesting theater experience, didn't you?
yeah, we had a very interesting theater experience. So, remind me, in no point in our youth did you ever work at a movie theater, right?
Not in our youth, but at some point I did work at a movie theater for like a month, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that I had like a weird memory of this. So maybe you'll be able to explain this to me. When I bought the tickets, I definitely bought Friday at 4 p.m. because I put it in my calendar like the
Friday at
nerd that I
4 p.m.
am. Sorry.
So, Gav,
Saturday.
perhaps it was you who mixed up the dates,
I
but go
can't keep it
on.
together. It was Saturday at 4 p.m. So at around 3:35, I started acting like a real bitch and I was like, "We have to go. We have to go right now," because I wanted a large diet Coke. And you
Hell
know
yeah.
how these things can go. So we walk to the movie theater. We get in, we scan our little barcode thing. I get a large Diet Coke. It's awesome. We go down to the theater and open the door. And inside, there is a filthy, like garbage everywhere, hot, no air conditioning movie theater with nothing playing on the screen. There are two other people currently in the theater, and it's like a father-daughter. And I look at them and I'm like, "Hey, are you guys here to see Freakier Friday?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So we sit down and it's silent. No AC, nothing playing, like literal silence. And I look at Corey and I'm like, "It's 3:59. Like,
Yeah,
what
there
is
should be
happening?"
something on there by now.
Something. So he gets up and he goes and like gets a guy, and the guy comes in with his little piece of paper and he goes, "According to my," I think he called it like a go plan. "According to my like go plan, this movie starts at 3:51." And we were like,
That's also
"Well,
wrong.
I mean, I thought it said 4." And then the guy who had previously been silent with his daughter goes, "It's 4:30." And I was like, "No, I'm like pretty sure it's 4." And the guy's like, "This says 3:51." And then I opened up my tickets on my little like email and it said 4:30.
So
So I believe I bought 4 o'clock tickets. They changed it to 4:30, and at 3:59, the theater was dirty. There was no air conditioning on and nothing playing. And so the guy was like, "Okay, well, you guys have to get out so we can clean up." And then they didn't let us in until like 4:25.
every part of that is kind of weird because if the movie's at 4:30, why is that guy sitting in the theater like 40 minutes early?
Yeah,
Like,
in hot.
yeah, I like to watch the trailers and all that. I love getting to the theater early. I'm not trying to get there before 40 minutes early. Like generally they won't let you in more than a half hour early because
Yeah,
at a minimum they need time to clean the theater between screenings,
right. Which
which
they obviously had not done.
it's also not a very in-depth cleaning. It's just, sweep up the noticeable trash.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when they let us in at like, 4:25 or whatever it was, the kid that Corey had brought in who did the cleaning was like, "Don't make a mess. Put your trash in the trash. Do not make a mess." And we were like, I mean, very reasonable request, but also like, "'Tis part of the job." No.
Well, yeah, that's like it's part of the cops' jobs to catch murderers, but it'd be nice for all of us if there were no murderers. You know
Well,
what I mean?
sure. It just was
We
a
should all
little
do our part
like,
in not murdering Gab.
yeah, 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 yeah. Fine,
Why, Gab, are
fair.
you throwing your stuff right on the ground? Did you just dump out
No.
that large Diet Coke, you sick, twisted son of a bitch?
I would never do that. Actually, Corey has this thing where he can't litter. Have I ever told you about this?
What do you mean he can't litter? What is he, Captain Planet? He can't. He's
Yeah.
incapable of it.
So if he is walking down the street and something falls out of his pocket, he stops and goes back and picks it up. If he spits his gum into the trash on the street and it misses, he gets down and picks it up and puts it in the trash. Like, cannot litter. And that is a wonderful quality that has rubbed off on me.
Does he carry around hand sanitizer though? Because that sounds disgusting as well.
No, he doesn't.
Mm,
But thank you for pointing that out.
gross. I'll
Yeah.
think of this
So
the next
anyway,
time I shake Corey's hand.
the first 30 minutes of the movie, we were very warm. And then I think eventually the AC like caught up with us. But it was a full theater. Like every seat was taken.
My theater was surprisingly full for this too, and I went on. Obviously I went on the Sunday as we planned, but I was surprised at how crowded it was.
That being said, now that we've wasted so much time, I'd like to talk about the movie.
Would you like to talk about what the movie is about?
Yeah, why don't you?
What's this all been about? What am I working toward?
Explain!
As you would a child.
You think you know everything about me, don't you?
I dive at your bottom. I bloody well ought to.
In the original, which is back in 2003.
Yes,
Yes,
correct.
the original was in 2003. We have Tess, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, and Anna, played by Lindsay Lohan. They swap. This time, Anna has her own daughter, Harper, and she is getting married to, I remember his name,
Eric.
Eric. And Eric has a daughter, Lily, and Lily and Harper don't like each other. And so during the Bachelorette, Lily, Harper, Anna, and Tess are all together, and they fall in with some psychic who makes all four of them switch until, what's the little saying? Change the hearts you know are wrong to find the place where you belong, because one of them wants to stay in LA, the other one wants to move to England, and hijinks ensue.
Yeah. What does IMDb have to say?
I read that from IMDb. No, IMDb says 22 years after Tess and Anna endured an identity crisis, Anna now has a daughter and a soon to be stepdaughter. As they navigate the challenges that come when two families merge, Tess and Anna discover that lightning might strike twice.
Okay. I don't hate that.
I mean, it's a simple description. There's not
Yeah,
that much you could hate.
I suppose. Well, you don't know me. Just kidding. You've known me my whole life.
Not for those first 2 months.
True. That is very true. It was they were lonely 2 months.
Quite formative.
Tell me what the taglines are looking like.
So you'll be pleasantly surprised there's only two.
Mm,
Here we go again. And
great.
Friday is about to get freaky again.
Great. Does the job, keeps it concise. I love it.
I mean, lazy, but fine.
Yeah. That's that's how I hope to be remembered. All right. Well, I don't really think we need to give any more plot summary than that, right? If you haven't seen it yet, pause this, get thee to a theater, watch it, come back.
Did you say get thee to Alita?
Yeah, get thee to a nunnery.
All right, Thor.
Thor.
Yeah,
I think you mean Hamlet.
either one. Thor also talks like that.
I didn't know that. I've never seen anything Thor
Yeah.
related. I didn't know he talked like Hamlet.
In the comics, he says things like "Have at thee" and like, yeah.
Why would I know
You wouldn't. But I'm not the one who told you to stop and examine this last sentence I said. God damn it!
All right,
The
in
fact
this
that we've made it
episode,
this far to this podcast is miraculous.
I know this is not going well. All right, let's go.
Here's a spoiler warning. Here's our opinions.
In this critic's opinion,
That's just like your opinion, man.
Well, I have a right to my opinion, and my opinion is you have no right to your opinion.
So I want to start with, I think, the most obvious point, which is that there was some contention over whether or not this deserved a theatrical release, right? Should it be a straight to DVD sequel? Is it going to be worth the theatrical release? And that was something on my mind when I first, got to the theater after I was done questioning why the theater was so dark and silent and hot. I thought, I hope this is worth the theatrical release. And I want to start, like, irrespective of whether or not I thought personally I enjoyed it, I did think it was worth the theatrical release.
Now that I know that it was originally going to be a Disney Plus release at one point, I feel like there are times where I visually feel like I got that. You know what I mean? Not in a rude way.
Are you talking about the montage?
Well, if we are getting to our opinions, the first opinion I will say is the movie starts, we see Anna meet Eric, and that's after we already found out that Harper and Lily don't like each other. And I thought maybe the switch is going to happen, with Eric getting ready to propose to Anna, and everybody knows it's coming type of thing. Instead, we montage past 6 months, and we never. I was disappointed that we don't even get to see an initial reaction from Harper and Lily to these two dating, to these two liking each other, to their first event where they have to be together. But to be fair, this movie, I feel like the first act is the weakest part because it's preventing us from getting to our, body swap shenanigans. So I don't think I want to extend that much more, but we could definitely, I would have liked to have seen their reactions to this happening.
I agree. I think the first act is really, really rushed. And I think there's a degree of like, you guys already get the gist. So let's get to like, how much time can we spend establishing the fact that these two don't like each other and, whatever. These two fell in love. Like, they're definitely. How can I say this? Have you ever seen Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen?
I have not.
Oh, okay. Good to know. It's a Lindsay Lohan movie that I loved as a kid, but it is objectively terrible. And the first act of this movie felt a lot like Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen because it was very like, we're only going to give you the plot points you need to know. And everything that comes in between, we're going to montage. And
that
so
montage
them
did
falling
some heavy, quick lifting. Yeah.
It really did. And it felt a little lazy. Like there wasn't even scenes in the montage of them getting engaged. There weren't any scenes of the daughters being in a place together or doing something together. Like I would have liked to have seen the proposal. I would have liked to have seen like the first family vacation. Like it was truly just selfies of Anna and Eric like on dates.
It sort of felt like the equivalent to the way that Indiana Jones does the travel montages where you just see a plane on a map and it's like they went from here to here. And I feel like that's what it was like. Here's a calendar. Here's a photo of them not engaged. Here's a photo of them engaged. They're getting married. And I was like, okay, that's a lot. I literally was like, what? Where's my movie? Like, it's like, what's happening?
Yes, I agree. And I also felt like the scene of them meeting and being like, single parent. Oh yeah, I'm also a single parent. And like maybe we could have dinner. And the principal like calling and making a dinner reservation. That felt a little bit more like slapsticky than anything. Like that particular moment felt out of place in the rest of the movie.
Especially with that teacher in that scene.
Do you agree? Am I overanalyzing?
I kind of agree with you. And I kind of felt that's the time it felt most straight to DVD Disney Plus-y is when there were random characters trying to be funny. Like the lady at the immigration meeting, the lady, the teacher.
Yeah.
And Madam Jen, she has one line that was really funny to me. She's the sidekick, which say what you want about in the original with their weird Asian racism that they're like, the Asian people have fortune cookies that can swap people's souls into different bodies. We all know this. this one doesn't really give any reason for why it works for Madame Jen that she's able to swap them. She's just like, I don't know, man. I guess the universe just wanted that shit to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is funny. A couple of things that I noticed. The Asian women from the Chinese restaurant are there,
They are.
very much still involved in their lives. They sound a little different.
Oh, you mean they're not putting on horrendous accents?
Yes, yes. So there's some growth, right?
Yes, it also feels like they just brought them back to show that they didn't have horrendous accents. I feel like,
yes,
like
it did.
I thought that they got referred to as like auntie at one point, and I was like, that is not
They
the
did.
relationship. That is not the relationship these two people had, like these families had.
I know.
They were caterers,
they-
and I
they-
don't assume it brought them that much closer that you fucked my whole life up for a weekend.
I know, but it's true. They referred to them as aunties
Yeah.
or like bonus aunties. I don't remember,
Something
but they
like
were
that.
referred to as aunties. And yeah, I think the older woman maybe still had an accent, which I imagine is just authentic, and the younger one did not have an accent.
Yeah, because she's probably from like Brooklyn.
Right, exactly. But I was shocked that they had nothing to do with it. They don't even come back. I would have thought that Tess and Anna would have gone to them to be like, what should we do? And for them to be like, well, we had nothing to do with this. You know what I
Well,
mean?
we get that one moment of them blaming them for a second and then being like, not us this time. But they don't ever have a scene where they're like, let's see if they know more. Because I guess the movie doesn't really want to lean into that. It's definitely the thing that's aged the worst from the
Yeah.
2003 version.
Yeah.
I will say, if I can change things very briefly, one of my favorite things that this movie did do, to give a very glowing compliment, is they left Jake, Chad Michael Murray, horribly fucked up from the first movie.
Yes, yes, yes.
I loved that this man was still very much into the old Jamie Lee Curtis. He was like, your husband dead yet? Give me a call. And
I think the thing I laughed out loud at the most is in the final scene where he
Yep.
brings his girlfriend to the wedding, and the girlfriend is the spitting image of Tess from the first movie.
she's just the poster image of Jamie Lee Curtis from the original movie.
Oh
I
my
was
God.
cracking up. That was one of the very few hysterical moments to me.
So good. So good. Now, I think that A.D. Bryant did a really good job. I do think that the character of, what is it, Miss Jen?
you do not have the right person. Vanessa Bayer.
Oh, Vanessa Bayer. Oh, that's embarrassing.
But I saw her and I was like, oh, they're both from SNL. So at least you got that going for you.
Yeah. But Vanessa Bayer did a really, really good job. I'm sure whatever A.D. Bryant did the other day was also great, but Vanessa Bayer did a great job. But I do think the character being like having all these like side hustles, and then like when she starts her shift at Starbucks,
Yeah.
I thought that was arguably funnier than any of her deliveries.
It feels like there are things she improv that were funnier than the things that were written. Like,
Yes.
one of my
thank you.
favorite lines that she says is when they first show up to her, I think in Starbucks, she goes, "Are you here to serve me papers?" And I was like, okay, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with that. I think that was great. I think we got to take a moment and shout out, is it Chloe Feinstein
Who are you
played
talking about?
the dance instructor?
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't think I had her information saved.
So she's also SNL.
She looked very
Chloe
familiar.
Feynman. Chloe Feynman. Sorry, I made her Jewish. Welcome to the tribe, Chloe. She is not Australian. She played the Australian dance teacher, and I thought she was hysterical.
Really? Because I don't remember. I remember being like, she looks really familiar. I don't remember anything she said.
Okay. That's fine. It tickled me. I don't necessarily remember anything she said either, but I thought it was really great. Okay. So I think the next thing I'd like to point out is Lindsay Lohan is back. Like, how back is Lindsay Lohan?
It worked enough for me. I don't know if this is not a we're so back situation, but we're not quite over either. So
Okay.
I would say she's good. You know what I mean? She does a good job. You know what's tough about this movie? The thing is, when you have 4 people swapping instead of 2, you don't have time to focus on their normal relationships. Like in the original movie, we get more scenes where it's just Tess with Ryan, and Ryan's like, "What's the deal with you right now?" Or more scenes with Anna and her friends, and they're like, "Because you hate her, remember?" You know what I mean? That kind of thing
Yeah.
where she's getting to understand her own life better. And I
Yeah.
think that this kind of unfortunately makes it more difficult to do that. Like we know that Lily had two little henchmen, basically. The one who, dives and takes a cupcake for her in the food fight. I thought that was cute.
Yeah.
We just never see them again. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought there was going to be more of that, but you don't really have time for that because it's too many characters then to know each of their lives intimately.
Yeah.
A good example for a moment where it was like, we can't examine why this is happening more is Lily, who is now inhabiting Jamie Lee Curtis Tess, is crying after she has, she's done what they want to do, like ruined the wedding basically. And we see Lily, who is Jamie Lee Curtis, Ryan's wife, talking to Ryan. And Ryan's like, I think she'll be lonely without them. I worry about her. Are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I just worry, and it's a nice moment where, she's trying to understand him better. It just was really funny to me that he's like, anyway, I've been in this scene enough. You go talk to my wife. Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. It left something to be desired in terms of the other characters and the relationships. Like the brother, Return of Harry. God bless him. He
It
came
was nice
back.
to see him show up for the 30 seconds.
It was nice. Would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that. Would have liked to have seen a little bit more of like the chaos that ensues of like, case of mistaken identity kind of thing. But, I think they did the best they could with the time that they had. And when we got to that point, it made me appreciative of the fact that we didn't spend a shit ton of time establishing that these two people were getting married and these two girls don't like each other.
What do you mean? Because I feel like that's what we did.
Right, but it made me grateful because then it's like, okay, well, if we had made that intro any longer, we'd have even less of this.
That's true. Because the movie really does take off the moment that the swap has actually happened. And the person who really takes over, I feel like, is Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh
Jamie Lee
yeah.
Curtis does such a good job of hamming it up and hamming up acting not her age.
She and you know what? I will say this about the first movie as well as this one. Jamie Lee Curtis has carried this on her back for 22 years, and
Yeah.
she will continue to do so. She is the miraculous Dylan star of this entire, I guess, franchise series. I don't know what you would call it. She is damn near like 800 years old.
I will paraphrase. It was one of my fun facts for later, but I'll say it now. Jamie Lee Curtis did also say she's like, I'm down for an eventual Freakies Friday another 20 years from now if I'm not dead.
Oh, she
She
better
was
not
like, I
be.
could be dead if I'm not.
Oh, she's just, first of all, she looks incredible. Like, just phenomenal. She is so youthful and funny and like not self-serious. I just could not love her more, and I aspire to be like her.
What's also funny, I saw again in an interview, the actor who plays Eric, Manny Jacinto, I think is his name, was saying something about I think he literally went, I don't want to get canceled for this, but some of these outfits Jamie Lee Curtis is wearing, I had a hard time keeping my eyes where I should be. I was like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, she looked banging.
I do find it funny also that the movie acknowledged that Jamie Lee Curtis has no lips.
Yeah. That was very funny.
Yeah.
Um,
That was one of
okay.
my favorite scenes is Jamie Lee Curtis in the Walgreens.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I think you can find most of it online, but it's just this teenage girl trapped in an old woman's body trying to figure out like what are essentials for an old person. And she's grabbing Fixidents, she's grabbing enemas, she's looking at diapers. I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, something to look forward to for us all.
It was very funny. And then she goes and gets her passport photo taken. And the teenage girl puts on lip plumper and like all this crazy lipstick, and she looks insane for these photos.
How did you feel about, speaking of Chad Michael Murray, the reintegration of Jake?
I appreciated it. I thought it made a whole lot of sense if they were trying to break up this wedding to go back and find Anna's first love, who she's still connected with on Facebook, which it really made me laugh when they said Facebook is like an
A
what do they call
database
it?
of old people or
A
something.
database
Yeah.
of old people. That really made me laugh. They saw that he liked all of her photos. They were able to bring him in, and they even established that they had been talking about her doing something for an auction for him. So it made a lot of sense that they could bring him back in and reintegrate him as part of the plan. Obviously, Anna wrote a song they assumed was about him, so it made a lot of sense from their perspective, and I
Yeah.
think it was beautiful. And I was expecting Jake to be interested in Anna and for that to be a problem. But the fact that he was so hung up on Tess made it so much funnier.
It does make it way funnier. And I did like most of what they did about bringing back in. I did think when they talk in the very beginning about, which felt like a weird way of phrasing, Anna deciding to be a single parent, which I'm like, what does that mean? Because we just never acknowledge what that means. Like she got a divorce, her husband
Yeah.
died, like in the first movie. I was like, oh, is Chad Michael Murray the father of Harper? That's what I thought was
Yeah.
happening. And it was like,
You
well, the
know what?
relationship broke down because he was obsessed with my mother. Like, that's what I
Yeah.
was waiting for.
You know what was really crazy to me? They say that Anna decided to be a single mother. Like you said, they don't say what that means, but it's a Disney movie, so whatever. Obviously, in the first movie, Tess is marrying Ryan, and her husband died. They say Anna's father died, so this
Yeah,
was
it's
her
very
second
important.
marriage, whatever. In this newer movie, Eric's wife had died. Lily's mother had died. So I guess they were like, we can't just be killing parents for no reason, right? So they don't
It's
really
Disney. That's
say.
all they do.
I suppose that's true. They don't really ever say, but I will tell you what. At one point Anna says something about being 37
Mm-hmm.
and Harper is 15.
Mm-hmm.
So, did Anna decide to give up being a rock star and become a single parent at 22?
Not only that, they make it sound like she gave up everything. She seems to be a pretty successful manager.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But at 22, she said, "You know what? I'm hanging it up and I don't have a partner, but I guess I'm going to go to the sperm bank and have a bit." It's like
Is that
you
what
have
it implies? Because you're right. That's also another possibility, but we don't know. But it also would have been weird for like the movie to stop for 20 minutes to focus on like,
to explain.
yes, but just don't include that line then and I won't think about it. Just say the
Yeah.
dad's out of the picture at some point and I won't think about it.
Yeah. No, 100%. That would have been totally fine. But they do say she decided to be a single mother. And listen, women are more than welcome to go out and have a baby on their own.
Absolutely.
It's a very interesting timeline where they're like, oh, she's 37. And it's like at 22, like that just feels, it just doesn't make sense. They could have explained it a different way. But I guess, what are they going to say? It was a one night stand because she was a rock star and she doesn't know who the father is. Like, they're not going to say that either.
Now, let me ask you a question. Something we have as like a subplot in the background is Anna's client, I guess I'll refer to them as the pop star Ella,
Ella.
is dealing with her own breakup from Trevor somebody who has a brand new song out that's like better than the last one or something like that, which,
Uh-huh.
they keep referring to throughout the movie. I fully felt like we were going to get Trevor at some point. I was like, oh, it's going to be a cameo of some kind. Trevor's going to show up. It's going to be maybe a musician, some Disney person, Nick Jonas. I don't know. I was waiting for something like that. And it just sort of drops out after a while. Now, again, we're not trying to make a 3-hour magnum opus here. So I feel like it makes sense that I wouldn't have wanted an extra 25 minutes to build up and resolve the Trevor Ella drama. But it felt like there was something kind of missing there.
Yeah. Now, you have me thinking, in the original Freaky Friday, most of these ends are tied up, right? We don't have a lot of
I think all the
loose
ends tied
ends.
very nicely in the original. But again, like I said, I think it's simpler when you have halved the swapping.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you. I was very concerned going in that there was going to be not enough of a focus on Tess and Anna, and it was going to be too much about these girls. Then I didn't care about them. And I think they did a really good job of making it not necessarily like just about these girls, but I've got to give credit where credit is due. Those two young women did such a good job playing Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan.
I think everyone does a really good job. I do think that they are more, those two actresses are more the main stars of the movie than actual Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis are, which I think is funny because most of the posters and stuff like that doesn't even include them. Like
Yeah.
maybe have, all four of them in squares instead of the two of them with the rectangle behind them of the different
Hmm.
colors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they are they are essential. They are Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan as far as the actual story is concerned.
Yeah.
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 It is nice that the movie really does bring back a lot from the first one. In some ways, that's just like, oh, that's nice. That's cute that they did that. In a way that isn't, the movie has to stop for this, but it's just like it's
Yeah.
happening in the background. Like,
Yeah.
not only do they bring back Pink Slip, the band, they integrate them in a way that we don't have to stop and focus on them for a long time. But even the drummer and bassist are back. The two dudes who like don't say a word in either movie.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, that's the same dudes.
That's awesome. At one point when we were back at the high school, Corey leaned over to me and went, Ned Ryerson,
Yeah, Ned Ryerson, Stephen Tobolowsky is back as the teacher. I have his name here
Mr.
somewhere, Mr.
Bates.
Bates, who just always he can't get away from this goddamn family.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that they said that he didn't retire because his pension was like
Wrapped up in
got
crypto or something.
wrapped up in crypto. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
thought that was very funny. Let me ask you this. Did you get emotional?
So let me talk about two emotional scenes. One that worked really well for me, one that didn't work well for me.
Okay.
Somewhat towards like the middle, second third of the movie, we get the scene of the two of them at the beach, which this time it's, the actors are Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis saying, I hated you a little less today. And I thought that was so nice. I was like, that's adorable, really sweet.
And
Towards the
that made
very,
you emotional?
not like, like I wasn't sobbing in the theater, but I was like, oh,
Okay.
towards the end of the movie. Now, a lot of the conflict is between the two younger girls. One wants to live in LA, one wants to live in England, and that's what it's all about. And at the end, we get, I don't even think this is a spoiler to say that by the end, it's really one of them says, I want to be wherever my stepsister is. And I laughed out loud in the theater and I realized, oh no, I'm the only one who laughed. I was like, yeah. I
Oh,
chuckled. I
because
went,
it was cheesy?
it just felt, it's a lot for one day. It reminded me of in The Naked Gun where they have the montage of them going on so many dates and then they go, this was the best night of my life. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I
yeah,
was like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, like I hated you a little less today felt like a perfect version of that to like, obviously we like each other now. We're not going to start saying we love each other after one day. You know what I mean? I was like, that is perfectly it, not over the top. And then at the end, they were like, now we're going over the top rope. Here comes the elbow. Like, I was like, oh, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
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 What about
Yeah,
you? Did
yeah.
you get emotional?
So I don't remember exactly when it happened. It was toward the end. I guess it was after Eric was like, I can't do this. And I don't, maybe they were at the concert. I don't remember exactly when it happened, but I started crying and I was like
Really?
so emotional. And then I looked over at Corey and he was also crying. And I was like,
Really?
it's yes, we were both crying. And at the end of the movie, I was like wiping my tears away, and he was like blowing his nose. And we looked at each other, we were like, are you also like really emotional? It was
But what
crazy.
about?
I think number one, um, I think it's always like a little bit emotional when you see a movie that you really loved as a kid kind of like come back to life a little bit, you know? Like I think there's like the nostalgia impact, like when Pink Slip started playing that song, um, Round and Round.
Take Me Away, I think it's called, or something like that.
Oh, May it was Take Me Away. They played all the good ones. But I was like, "Oh my God." And then I think there's also a level of like I don't know, it's like family stuff and like kids and like I don't know. I just feel like I'm at an age where I'm like I don't know if it's like weird like oh, I want to be a parent stuff or whatever, but it was just like so emotional. And then I said to Corey, I remember seeing Toy Story 3 in the movie theater. Do you remember that?
Of course. That brought me near
So
tears.
Toy Story 3, I was sobbing. And I looked at my parents because I went with my parents and my brother, and I was like, was the first Toy Story this emotional? And they were like, yes. But like because I was a kid, I didn't get it. You feel it differently. And then as an adult watching Toy Story 3, I was like shattered. So I feel like there was also a level of this was as a teenager watching Freaky Friday, I didn't quite have the view from like Tessa's perspective. And I think I really viewed it from Anna's perspective with like her relationship with her mom and her relationship with her own daughter. And Dylan, it fucked me up.
That's fair. It's also, there's a very sweet moment at the end too, where it's revealed that the song she had written is not about Jake, but is in fact about her daughter, Harper, which makes much more sense, obviously. And it's very sweet them playing it together on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I get where that could have come from. I did not become emotional watching it, but I thought it was nice.
Shocking. Okay. Well, Corey got emotional and it was really nice.
But I was very excited for the song again. Oh, I was like, God damn,
Oh,
this song slaps.
it's so good. It's
really
so
good.
good.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good. I think they did such a good job of bringing it back without like beating you over the head with it. But I think we said the same thing in the first one. Like the music is so good, but it's not like that thing you do where it's that one song over and over and over again.
I will say, I do feel like, though, okay, so Ella hears the song that she's working on, which is like My Baby or something like that is the name of the song, something simple. And she's like, can I play the song at my concert? And instead, the surprise ends up being that she wants to have Anna play the song at her concert. So she invites Anna out to do it, and Anna does it. And the crowd is as cool about it as you would be at any concert where she goes, you've all paid to see me, but I have a guest for one song. And you're like, okay, cool. And then they just keep going. And I was like, me as an audience would not be like, yeah, whoever you are.
Yeah, but I think Pink Slip is like a famous band still. Like I
Because
think
when? Like, when did they have this moment? You know what I mean? Because they make it seem like Anna was so young when she gave it up that I'm like, is Pink Slip like they had potential, but they never ended up
no,
taking
they went
off?
on without her. They're still playing, but Anna left. So Anna is no longer in the band, but the band is still relevant. That's what I understood.
That is not the vibe I got. The vibe I got was that the band like broke up when she left, and this is them all deciding to come back together. I think maybe your thing makes more sense. I don't know if either one quite works the way it wants it to, but okay.
I think Pink Slip exists without Anna. And they just like, that's why people were so excited. Ella was like, they're my favorite band. And like, look, Anna's back.
I will also say I wish we had somebody younger than us that we could ask about what they thought, because during the beginning of this movie, I was so, the moment we see her knocking on Harper's door and Harper has a sign on her door that says like no triggering, entering my safe space, I was like, this is not, this feels like it was written by somebody who's 100 years old. Like,
Yes.
I don't believe
Yes.
any kid actually would have this sign on their door. But by the end, I didn't feel that way anymore, that it was so over the top. Like, I just imagine it's one product designer who put that one thing in place that felt way off, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But by the end, I didn't feel, I was like, I'm sure that this works as well for the kids as it does for the olds.
Yeah.
And I am the olds.
You and I both. Yeah.
Are you all right?
I
Were you having
really,
back pain as you said that?
no, I was just yawning and trying not to yawn directly into the microphone and also
Okay.
not make it obvious. So sorry about that.
All good.
I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. I don't think it was as tight as the first one in terms of storytelling and like plot lines, but it worked for me and it like got me right in the feels.
I do want to see how long the original is, because I believe this one is an hour and 50 minutes and the original is an hour and 37 minutes.
Wow.
Which I think the interesting thing is I feel like I wanted more to be in this movie, but I did feel like it was a little long. Like, when I was leaving the theater, I was like, was that over 2 hours?
Huh.
Yeah. Perhaps
Okay.
that's just me, though. Should I get to the facts?
Please.
I want the truth.
Face the facts, ducks.
Facts have no place with an organized religion.
This is all as of the day we're recording this, which is just after opening weekend. So a lot of this information can still change. I'm so used to doing things that have already been out for 20 to 100,000 years. You know what I mean?
Yes.
On the tomato meter, it has a 73% with 121 fresh reviews and 44 rotten, and an audience score of 93% with an average score of 4.6 out of 5. IMDb, it has a 7.1 out of 10. It had a estimated budget of $42 million, and for its opening weekend, it grossed an estimated $45 million, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
The critics' consensus: Freakier Friday doesn't reinvent the original story so much as it swaps the formula around for a frothy good time, with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan easily slipping back into roles that fit them like mixed and matched gloves. Couple reviews. Matt Zoller cites from RogerEbert.com. This viewer just wishes that, with such a constellation of talent assembled in one film, Freakier Friday had risen to the occasion and pushed them to the outer edges of their abilities instead of putting them through their paces.
Okay.
David Rooney from The Hollywood Reporter: I think I would have preferred a shot-for-shot remake to this painfully stretched cash grab.
Okay.
Zaki Hassan from San Francisco Chronicle, San France.
What?
Okay, I'm just gonna roll with that one. As before, the chief draw is Curtis, who once again earns big laughs from the absurdity of a teenager stuck inside a 60-something body. And last one, Jocelyn Novak from the Associated Press: the problem is that sometimes it's actually hard to keep track of who's inhabiting whom, and therefore why they're doing what. Not to say that Freakier Friday, directed with gusto by Nisha Ganatra, doesn't have moments of comic glee.
That feels like a you problem. It wasn't that complicated.
I'm just saying, Miss Timeline, I get it. Okay. There were moments where I was like, I feel like going into certain scenes, I had to remind myself, okay, Lily is Tess, Harper is Anna, Anna is Harper. Like I was doing it at times. I didn't lose track of it. I wasn't like, I don't know what's happening no more. I had to remind myself at times.
All right. I don't know.
My brain is getting dementia riddled like Swiss cheese at times, but go
yes,
on.
true. It felt like Harper and Anna switched in the same way that Tess and Anna switched, mother and daughter. And then Lily doesn't have a mom, so she switched with Tess. Like, it was very obvious.
Speaking of which, didn't you feel like at that scene, I feel like they cut something out during that wedding dress try-on scene where we see Tess, who is Lily, who lost her mom, crying, and I was like, they're gonna say something to her, right? And they just really don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, Lily just disappears during that scene. I don't remember what she was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was also, while we're on the subject, I forgot to mention this earlier, there were a number of moments where you could obviously tell that they were just dubbing different audio over.
A lot of ADR, yeah.
Yeah. What the hell?
I don't know. But yeah, a lot of noticeable ADR at times, which is again why
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that feels a little Disney Plus-ish that I can notice that hard. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Letterboxd reviews.
Please.
This one's from Lucia. Oasis reunion this, Oasis reunion that. Pink Slip is back, and Ticketmaster's about to crash harder than your middle school laptop.
I love that.
Jay, this movie looked like a Disney Plus original, which now that I know more, I'm like, Jay, you weren't that far off.
Yeah, correct.
The Notorious Jock. I fear for Hans Zimmer's job. Chapel Roan is ruining Hollywood now. Oh, is running Hollywood now.
Oh, yeah. That Chapel Roan song in the beginning. But you know what? I love it.
I liked the song, but there were times where I was like, the soundtrack definitely costs a lot of money. Like, of those $42 million for this budget, I wonder how much of it was just for music rights.
Yeah.
Last one from Shauna Shipman's Flannel. I got to see Lindsay Lohan in a movie theater and hear 2 Chapel Roan songs too. I'm so fucking happy. It bookended so well with the other Chapel Roan review.
Yeah, that's great.
The movie was directed by Nisha Ganatra, who also directed Late Night and episodes of shows like Deli Boys and Just Like That and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. The screenplay is written by Jordan Weiss, who also wrote Sweethearts and Dollface, and based on the book Freaky Friday by Mary Rogers. It stars Lindsay Lohan as Anna Coleman, who you might know from Mean Girls and The Parent Trap. Jamie Lee Curtis as Tess, who you might know from Halloween and True Lies. Julia Butters as Harper, who you might know from American Housewife and The Fablemans. And Sophia Hammonds as Lily, who you might know from The Social Dilemma and Under Wraps 1 and 2. Also featuring Maitreyi Ramakrishnan as Ella, who you might know from Never Have I Ever on Netflix, which is a really good show. Manny Jacinto as Eric, who you might know from I Want You Back and The Acolyte. Vanessa Bayer as the psychic Jen, who you might know from DC League of Super Pets and SNL. Mark Harmon as Ryan, who you might know from 435 episodes of NCIS. And Chad Michael Murray, who you might remember from One Tree Hill, A Cinderella Story, and House of Wax. I only have a couple of fun facts because the movie's brand new. Do you want to hear the little that I have?
Please.
This is Mark Harmon's first non-NCIS role in 13 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
I really thought you were going to say 22 years.
No, I think the last movie he did was Freaky Friday. Yeah.
Yeah.
But quite frankly, that's a lot of NCIS, man. I've never seen an episode of that show. I didn't realize people were watching it that much.
Me neither. But anytime I see him in a commercial for NCIS, I'm like, oh, it's Ryan.
The movie has Jamie Lee Curtis, Lindsay Lohan, Chad Michael Murray, Mark Harmon, Stephen Tobolowsky, Rosalind Chow as Pepe, Lucille Sung as Pepe's mom, Christina Vidal as Maddie, Ryan Mulgarini as Harry, and Haley Hudson as Peg, all reprising their roles from the original Freaky Friday.
How good did they all look for the most part?
Yeah, everybody aged well.
Yeah.
Honestly, Mark Harmon aged really well for a guy who's got to be in like his 70s now.
Yeah, it's all that NCIS.
Yeah, keeps him young.
Yeah.
This film marks Lindsay Lohan's first theatrically released leading role with a wide release in 18 years. Her last such film was I Know Who Killed Me.
I Know What You Did Last Summer. Oh, I Know Who Killed Me. That's what I meant. I'm just so proud of her. Like, so proud of her.
Do you think we'll have a Lindsay Lohan renaissance now? Like, is she going to be back as a leading star?
That is what I am praying for, Dylan. No more Hallmark movies, just all big money. That's what we want.
I saw somebody ask her in an interview about like, are you going to put out music again? And she was like, I don't know, maybe. Like,
yeah,
she was like,
we don't need
we'll
that.
See.
We still have rumors. We can replay it. We don't.
I think she's got to be very careful about her next couple choices because she's right now on the thin line between like another hit, she's back full force, another miss, she's gone again. Like,
yeah,
we'll be like, remember that one movie she came back for? Oh yeah.
You know what's really funny? At the end of the movie, so at the end of the movie, they do the same thing they did in the original Freaky Friday, which is where they do the outtakes, which none of which I thought were like very funny. They kind of all seemed like inside jokes, you know? But I digress. At the end of the outtakes, there is the credits are still going by, and I see a credit for acting coach for Elle Lohan, but there were no acting coaches for anybody else. So I thought to myself, okay, she's really taking this seriously. She wants to do well. She's got an on-set coach. She's fucking back.
That's interesting. That's one way to read that. The other way to read that is she's the only one who needed an acting coach. Like,
yeah. I'd like to believe that she was like, do you think I could have an on-set coach to help me so that I don't look like an asshole? Because I'm a little rusty. That's how I'm going to take it.
Okay. We'll roll with that.
Yeah. Optimism.
Anna and Eric's wedding date is October 3rd, the iconic date for Mean Girls.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even think about that.
He asked me what day it was.
Yeah.
According to Jamie Lee Curtis, she essentially made this movie happen during the tour for Halloween when people kept asking her about Freaky Friday, and she said a sequel couldn't happen until Lindsay Lohan was old enough to have her own 15-year-old. Then she realized she was after asking. She said she asked Siri, and Siri told her how old Lindsay Lohan was. And she called up Bob Iger to get the movie started, and she is obviously one of the producers of the movie now.
Wow.
Two of the members of Pink Slip, Haley Hudson, who plays Peg, and Danny Robin, who is the bassist Scott, have formed a real band, Hudson Rubin. They have 3 songs out, and one of their songs is used in the movie.
Damn.
And Chad Michael Murray, this is my last one, when thinking about what Jake has been doing for the last 23 years, came up with that he probably does have a shrine in his house somewhere to test, but knew that the audiences wouldn't be let in on that.
That's great. I like Chad Michael Murray. He looks good.
He looks very good, and I love that because it's one of the things that was my biggest takeaway rewatching the first movie was that the only person who had really long-lasting impacts from the first movie is him. He was destroyed by that weekend.
Yeah, that really did a number to him.
Yeah. Gab, I think we're ready. Should we swap back and get to some mail?
Please.
Mail time! When you control the mail, you control information.
Mom asked me to ask you if there's any mail for us here by mistake.
What?
Okay, so we actually got an email on an older episode, but I'm going to read it anyway. From Martha, your podcast on A League of Their Own.
Ah,
Dear Gab and Dylan, I'm writing to thank you for your podcast on A League of Their Own, which was my favorite movie for the rest of my childhood from the first time I first saw it. I also listened to your podcast on Tootsie because I'm a huge Gina Davis fan. I haven't listened to all the commentaries out there on A League of Their Own, but I have listened to a number of them. I especially appreciated Gab's unique perspective about 20-ish minutes in response to Dylan's point about Kit being the better choice for the main character because she's the underdog doing the overcoming. Gab was the first person I've ever heard point this out. She said something along the lines of, I love that this is from the perspective of someone who's really good. It's so insanely common for women to be jealous of one another that oftentimes being good at something or the best at something inherently makes you the villain. I think it's really cool to see this from the perspective of Dottie, who is like, there's nothing wrong with me being good at what I do, and if that makes you uncomfortable, then you're going to have to figure out a way to get over that. Gab went on to explain that this is a very common problem among women. I love Gab's articulation of that because it's a great point about being a woman in general. It was validating for my inner child when I first saw League of Their Own in the theater 1 month before my 10th birthday. So I was at an age where I was used to watching cartoons in which the good guy always wins in the end. The outcome of the World Series in the movie where Kit brings her team to victory instead of the Peaches messed with my mind at the time. Perhaps that was what the creators were trying to do, because I had just spent the better part of 2 hours rooting for the Peaches and falling in love with the character of Dottie Henson for being so talented at baseball, so beautiful, so lovely a person, so intense, so focused, and so introverted. I would later find out I was an introvert too. And Gina Davis for playing her. Kit's winning was a slap of a reminder that she was overcoming underdog from the start, and I should feel happy for her. I spent much of my life being told how to think and feel, and it felt that the movie that I had just fallen in love with was doing the same thing to me. It was very nice to hear someone else say that a movie can focus on the character who is the best and more appealing, not the one doing the overcoming, and that I don't have to bow to the narrative that I should feel happy for Kit because good guys always win. And there was room for me to be disappointed when I was 9 that the Peaches lost. Thank you, Gab, for that. Also appreciated Dylan's reference in the podcast to the part of Gina Davis's interview with Bobby Wygant on YouTube, in which she explains in detail why Dottie might have dropped the ball. I've never heard anyone else mention that. I've never heard anybody else name drop Bobby Wygant, who's like, she passed away recently, R.I.P. Bobby Wygant, but she was this adorable old lady who I think she worked for some like news station in the South, but she uploaded like every interview she ever did on YouTube and has been in such a vast resource for me for this podcast every time I research. And like her podcast, on her podcast, her interviews are always, if it's 10 minutes long, it's 5 minutes of shot of the celebrity, 5 minute reverse shot of just Bobby Wygant. So I think it's very funny that like I would be listening to it with my headphone on and then I'd turn and forget that like, oh, I'm just looking at Bobby now and I'm just re-listening to the same thing I already heard.
that is funny.
Anyways, back to the email. If you really do wonder what listeners consider movies to watch before you die, I recommend the movie Hero, also starring Gina Davis and also released in 92. It stars Dustin Hoffman, whom Gab said in your podcast on Tootsie she considers to be one of the 3 greatest actors of all time / of
Absolutely.
our lifetime. It also stars Andy Garcia and features Joan Cusack in a supporting role. It's everything but a smash hit, beloved by most people. It is a flop that has been mostly forgotten, but for that reason, there has not been enough commentary on it. I think it deserves more commentary, and I'm curious about what you would think of it. It's available to watch for free on YouTube, which is the note of any great film when it is available
Yes.
fully for free on YouTube.
Yes. Always a mark of some of the great films of our time.
No, I think I realized when I did North, when I picked North for the podcast that was entirely on YouTube. I was like, well, that's a bad sign.
I loved it though, right? Didn't I?
Yes. If the movie's available for free on YouTube, though, that means whoever had the rights to it just stopped caring.
Yeah. North is the one where he picked his own parents, right?
Yes.
Corey and I just had a conversation where we were like, I don't remember how it came up, but I was like, it's like that movie where the kid picked his own parents. Maybe I was trying to explain free agency to him. I don't remember.
I think they literally use free agency to explain it in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, one of Bruce Willis's most underrated movies, but I digress. That was me, not Martha. Back to Martha. There's not much information on here online. For example, I can't find promotional interviews any of the stars might have done with Letterman, Leno, or Arsenio Hall. Since Dylan said he always does his research on the movies you discuss, I would be interested to see whether he finds more information on Hero then. And she listed the sources she's found, which, quite frankly, I probably am not finding more than she found. Thank you again. Thank you also for posting your email address and being willing to receive correspondence regarding the movies you feature. Best regards, Martha.
Okay, so first of all, I love Martha.
Martha's very sweet. It feels like when you that felt more like I was written like a handwritten letter than an email.
Yes, yes. That was lovely. Martha, you are officially a top five listener of the show. We love you. And if you're wondering if you're the one who's been bumped, the answer is yes. I that was so sweet. And that actually, like, usually when people request a movie, I'm always like, oh God, I don't know. But I would do that for Martha.
Wow. Okay. Well, you do have the next pick. I think.
Well, I don't know
Well,
that
no.
I would do it right now. I'm just saying I will do it. Do it
Okay.
for Martha. That was great. Thank you, Martha.
Yeah, if that was going to be the one piece of mail we got for this episode, I'm pretty happy with it.
That really warms my heart.
I hope she kept listening to non-Gina Davis episodes.
Yeah, I know. I hope she hears this.
If you're out there, Martha, let us know.
Yeah. Send us a smoke signal.
I was gonna say, I think that's all I've got. I mean,
Cool.
I guess now I feel like I'm not catching the pop-up right now. I feel like I'm screwing it up.
Yeah, you probably are.
I'm no Ace of Diamonds, or was it the Ace of Diamonds? That was her little moniker, and
Wasn't it the Queen of Hearts?
what? Oh, it was the Ace of Diamonds from, I think that might be from King of the Hill.
You should cut this.
I'm gonna cut myself out of this podcast.
Do or do not. There is no try.
The guilty will be punished.
Sentence is death.
I know you got emotional during this. What do you think?
did.
Is this a movie to
I
watch
did.
before you die?
So I'll say this. I think objectively, it's not as good as the first one. And I think you'd be a fool to think that anything could be. And I don't want to act like it was an original idea. It was obviously a remake of another movie. And so the idea was not original, but it is a classic. And I'm hard pressed to believe that there's anybody out there who doesn't love the first Freaky Friday. So it has some big shoes to fill. I don't think that they did an awesome job cleaning up the remnants of a Disney Plus feature situation, but I do think that they did a really nice job. It was funny, it was nostalgic, it was digestible. I enjoyed it, and I would say let's link this with the original Freaky Friday and call it also a movie to watch before you die.
I definitely didn't hate this, but I can feel the Disney Plus. I'm definitely not calling this movie to watch before you die. It was okay. You know, it was at the beginning. I really, for the first 10 to 15 minutes, was like, oh, I'm going to hate this. This is going to suck. Shit. I was like, oh no, I'm going to sit here for the next hour and a half and hate every moment. And by the end, I did not. I had a good time. It was very much disposable, though. It felt like the last Disney Plus original that is coming to my mind that I'm thinking of is Hocus Pocus 2, where they made another sequel many years later to something. It's definitely better than that. You know what I mean? I can see why it got the theatrical release. If I had a choice, I would wait until it was on Disney Plus to watch it. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's a little bit, you know what it is? You were talking about, it feels like there's a lot of inside jokes during those end credit bloopers, right? During those end credit bloopers, I was smiling, but I think I was smiling because I feel like I could feel how much fun they had making the movie. And I think the problem is, I think they had more fun making the movie than I did watching the movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's reasonable. I don't totally agree with you, but I can see where you're coming from, and I think that's okay. Here's my bigger question. Do you think that Lindsay Lohan is back? Or let me rephrase that. Do you think it is possible that this will be marked as the beginning of Lindsay Lohan's return?
The Lohan-sance?
Yeah.
So if I go to her IMDb right now, does she have like something else coming up? Do you know?
No. Look it up. Tell me.
Stand by. I have looked up Lindsay Logan. That is not helpful to me right now. She has no upcoming credits currently on IMDb. I'm so curious where she goes from here, quite frankly, because it really could go either way. I could see her going back to like Hallmark level things, which wouldn't be, the worst thing in the world. It's a steady working gig type work. I doubt she's ever going to be the sensation that she was, you know what I mean? Just because time has moved on and too much has gone by. Like, I don't think she's going to have, you mentioned her in the same breath as like, did you say that or did I see that somewhere else? Somebody mentioned her in the same breath as like, maybe she can make a comeback the way Robert Downey Jr. did. And I'm like, let's take it easy, you know.
No, I didn't say that.
You didn't say that, but I saw somebody say that in a video I was watching about the movie. I think she was the it girl of Hollywood for a bit. I don't think she was ever such a dramatic force that I think her comeback is inevitable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she could come back into some significant roles, I think. I think this movie's doing well. This could be big for her.
Let's see how good her acting coach is still. Because maybe he'll be able to help her rise to the levels of Meryl Streep.
I hope so. I think it would be nice to see her come back because I think she grew up very quickly being part of the Disney machine.
Yeah. Now, what's your favorite Lindsay Lohan movie? Top 3.
I think we had this conversation during our last Freaky Friday one or during Mean Girls. We've covered most of the major Lindsay Lohan pieces by this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be Mean Girls for me. I guess then Freaky Friday and then The Parent Trap. But I need to rewatch The Parent Trap.
Yeah. Yeah, we should do that. Yeah, I think that's fair. Crazy to me that Georgia Rule isn't up there. She's so good in that movie.
Don't hit me with fish.
She's so good in that. So good in that.
She's good in it. Like if you ask me her top performances, I guess I'd put that in there, but it's really not a fun story. Go back and listen to our Georgia Rule episode about what Georgia Rule's about.
But it's a fucking phenomenal performance. Anyway, all right, agree to disagree. Yeah, we got very emotional in this movie. I'm a little bit surprised that you didn't.
I'm shocked to hear you did. Shocked.
And it was like uncontrollable. Like I didn't want to be emotional. I wasn't like, oh, I love this. I was like, oh my God, I'm crying. And then I looked over at Corey, who was also crying.
Yeah, I need to talk to Corey because I'm shocked.
I wish he was here right now because I'm having a hard time articulating exactly what moments made me emotional. And I feel like he would remember, but he's at work.
Damn him and his employment.
I know. I'll find out though. I'll let you know.
Get back to me and we will get back to you, the listener, once we have whatever our next episode is. Gab, do we know what our next episode is? No. We'll figure that out. Gab, do you want to say the other things we say at the end of this? Also, we're at like 296 subscribers on YouTube, which is not a meaningful amount at all, but it would be meaningful to me to get to 300.
Yeah, it would be very meaningful.
Nice. I just think it'd be neat.
It would be neat, Dylan. You're right. Okay, so the things that we say. Thank you so much for listening to Movies to Watch Before You Die. If you would like to chime in, give us your opinion, give us a movie that you think we should talk about, tell us that you believe our opinions are correct or incorrect. You can send us an email at moviestowatchbeforeyouDie@gmail.com. You can send a voice note. You can send money, whatever you want to send away. All right, as long as it's not anthrax, which you probably can't send via email.
Please do not send us anthrax.
Yes. In the link tree below, you'll find a link to our friends at the Hall of Pods podcasting network. You will find links to our merch. You'll find links to my Venmo. Again, money, yes. Anthrax, no.
Why are you just turning into Mona Lisa Saperstein from Parks and Rec? Money, please.
Okay, first of all, have you ever seen Girls on HBO?
No.
Oh my God, please. It's a very hot take to say how much I love Girls, but I do love Girls. And that actress plays a very small role in the series. I'm having Corey watch it with me. And oh my God, she came on the screen and Corey goes, Mona Lisa Saperstein. And I was like, it's just the most iconic role of all time. But yeah, besides that, just send us some shit and subscribe and be nice. And don't say mean things in the comments.
You've learned a lesson. A lesson that may serve you again.
Okay, that's enough. Okay, we'll give these to my neighbors.
I'm onto something here. One more thing. Right over there is a QR code that you can tip me with.